He's in.
Hey, did Josh get that link?
You know what? I just sent it to him as well. So we are live on the air right now. I just sent it to him as well. So that means that he should be coming in too.
Okay, let me try and get this right.
Looking sharp, counselor. Looking sharp.
Long day.
I bet there's a lot of long days. So right now there are about 145 people watching live. And so we're just going to wait for Josh to come in, and then we're going to get the questions started. Okay, how are you doing today?
Tired already.
What are you tired from? It was 4 p.m. out on the East Coast.
I've been doing interviews all day for some of the sexual assault cases at mental health hospitals that I'm handling, where some of the teens in the adolescent ward have been getting raped by the staff and by other kids.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? I'm speechless on that. Wow. I don't even know what to say. How did you even come into this life of defending people, sexual assault victims? Is that well, I know that you do some business stuff as well, but how do you do business on one part and then sexual assault on the other?
It started with some of the big civil rights cases that I handled, like Walter Scott in South Carolina when he was running and got shot on video. And then Alton Sterling, which we all saw in Baton Rouge, where the officers shot him while he was down. And then I had a kid that was sexually assaulted at a daycare and took that to trial and got a good verdict. And then after that, older woman who was at a hotel, they gave away the key card to some crazy guy, and he went in her room and raped her.
You handled that?
Mm-hmm. And
I saw that yesterday, and some guy she had met at the bar, and he was like chatting her up, and then he found out her room number, and then she had the lock on the door. He went back down, got staff to come up and take the hook off from the outside. That case?
No, but it sounded exactly like that. This one was here in South Georgia. She didn't have the lock on the door, but he did go get the key card. He did meet her in the bar, but she left, and he came in there and he raped her. So I sued the hotel for giving the key card away to a stranger. And then after that, a lot of victims of sexual assault just started calling, and that was 10 years ago.
Really? Oh, wow, really? You know what? I'm going to check and see what's going on with Josh, and because we might have to just get started. You're using your phone, so you can't text him, right? Let me send him a message.
Let me text him real quick.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm gonna get my own camera set up. So hello, everybody. Welcome in. Right now, we are talking with Cstewart from Jasmine Eiland's. He is the person heading. So he's with Stewart Law Team, and he's the one heading the investigation. Well, the trial right now with Jasmine Eiland. So welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Oh, look, there's Joshua.
Hi, this is Jasmine. Hey, Jasmine, let me call you right back.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, everybody's looking so good over there. Let me get my camera set up on the tripod because I'm using my laptop to broadcast, because that's how Google does it for us. All right. All right, so here we go. So are you two ready to get into it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
All right, so perfect. All right, so there's so many questions. And I'm going to take a few questions from the audience as well. All right. So, you know what? First of all, how is Jasmine?
She's good. She's hanging in there.
Yeah, definitely just got off the phone with her. So she's stronger than what she was in the beginning, but it's going to take a lot of healing, and it's a long process, a lot of therapy to get her through it. But she's getting a little bit stronger.
Okay. And so, I watched the hearing before the grand jury, but I didn't see you two there. What was going on?
You mean no, that was just the preliminary hearings. They're taking it to the grand jury, I think, in the next upcoming weeks for the grand jury. That was just to see if he would get bond or anything like that. But, the biggest thing is that's the criminal portion, and that's up to the DA and their team. We handle the civil part and the community part. We stay out of their lane. They stay out of ours, and they just have to do their job just like we're doing ours.
Oh, so there's two different cases then, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, the district attorney handles the prosecution of the defendant. So we don't have anything to do with the criminal case other than, saying that, she wants him charged. But, it's totally up to the district attorney to prove the criminal case.
Oh, okay. And so then you guys are coming in on the civil side. And so the civil side is for like a personal suit or the suit against the club.
Yes.
Okay, so all of that. So the charge that he came up with, aggravated sodomy, you all don't have anything to do with that.
No, that's the charge that the DA came up with. The only thing we have to do is help Jasmine participate with the district attorney's office and giving them information, interviews, sitting down with her, helping them collect evidence.
Oh, I see. And so did you ever find out how many, because I saw the press conference that you all did where you said that there was 1/4 of the staff available, or 1/4 of security available on the night of the party.
Yeah.
Did you ever find out how many security guards were actually there?
We're in full litigation now, so depositions will be coming up of the staff, of the people that were there. Discovery will be coming out. So all of that information, will be public soon.
Oh, okay. And then speaking of public, does anybody know when the tox screen is coming back or the rape kit?
The way that works, since it was done up there, they have to ship it here to Georgia, to the DA, and then it goes to the GBI for expert testing. The GBI is Georgia Bureau of Investigation. So it's, through a long custody chain, but that's the typical procedures. And they take a while. You got to imagine how many victims there are everywhere where something has happened in Georgia, and it has to go to GBI testing.
Okay, so because there are people who are saying that the rape kit came back, his DNA was not found. Can you speak to people who are saying things like that?
Well,
sure,
it's simply not true. It is not back, and we don't have it. The DA doesn't have it. Nobody has it, except the people that are processing everything. So as soon as it comes back, we'll be the one to address everything. But nothing has came back yet. So all that is just false.
Okay, so all of these people, because the people have whole videos saying, "Oh, his DNA was not found on her. Oh, she did not. She was not drugged. She was just drunk, etc." And so you're saying that is not back yet, and that those people who are making those videos they have bad information, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not even bad information. They're just wrong. Or making it up, either way. And even let's say that a woman was drunk and was raped, so that makes it okay.
Right.
If it wasn't drugs, if she was too intoxicated to consent, it's fine then. So
well, I know you saw the preliminary hearing, right? And Shaquelle, she is under the impression that Miss Eiland looked like she was enjoying it, so there is no probable cause. What do you say about that?
We won't address Miss Ross, her behavior and her things that she's brought up referencing us. I've been practicing for almost 15 years. I think she's been practicing for about 2. I have too much respect for other African-American lawyers to say anything negative about them publicly or critique how they're handling the case or things that they've said. If they cross the line too far, there's other means that it could be handled legally, but I won't say anything negative about her behavior or how she's handled the case. How she wants to handle it or how she wants to talk or what she wants to say publicly, that's on her. But one thing I've learned from practicing so long and having the success that I've had is, you have to be aware of what you say on social media because it has legal ramifications.
Oh, does it? Does it?
It was just put it like that. Watch what you say, because I mean, you can get in trouble by saying the wrong thing. So just watch what you say.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the audience is saying they like your attitude, Chris. And there are other people who want you to speak to the rumors of people getting paid for testimony. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that have happened in this situation that I've never seen in the over 3,000 cases that I've handled. That's disheartening. You know, especially handling a lot of civil rights cases where the African American community is behind me 100%, and I'm fighting against racists and, you know, hate groups and things like that. And we're unifying, supporting a young Black male who was killed. If we're out protesting in the streets with Black Lives Matter or whoever it is that's supporting us, it has been a little disheartening seeing that a woman didn't get this same type of support. She got the opposite of being attacked. And I get it. Look, I handle a lot of cases that are in the news. A lot of people will take these cases and just try and become famous on YouTube or popular online or on Instagram by making rumors, by making fake information. I get it. That's cool. You know, they're trying to get theirs. But there's a real person, you know, that's being affected.
Oh, wow. You know what? Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. So, you know, you bring up the racist, and you bring up 2 points that I want to jump into. Do you want to talk about the gender part first or the race part first?
Oh, it's your world.
All right. So you know what? Let's talk about the gender, and then we'll circle back around to the race aspect of it. So you're saying that it's sad that a woman did not get the support that you've seen other Black men who have been victimized, or other Black people, young or old, get the same type of support publicly. And you know, I was on this story from the night that it broke, and I've been vlogging about it, and even my comment section is very, very toxic, with a lot of people even coming out attacking me, feeling that I should shut up, be quiet, sit down, close my mouth, etc. And people who are of the impression that Jasmine did something to bring this on herself. Let's talk about the social part of this and how we treat rape. Let's bring it to the forefront.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's something that is a touchy subject because it's something that, of course, men don't want acknowledged, and that, you know, it's easy to find something to try and say a woman invited it to happen. Her dress was too short. Her outfit was too revealing. She, you know, was dancing with the man first, whatever it may be, until she says yes, or let's do it, you know, then it's not consent. You
Right.
know, I mean, you know,
Like,
there's just not an excuse.
if I saw the victim shamers, it doesn't matter if a woman is walking around butt naked. If she says, no, stop, don't do this to me, that you probably shouldn't do it, because you'll get arrested. When she says, no, stop, don't do this, there's no excuse to keep doing it. It doesn't matter what she was wearing. It doesn't matter if she was walking around naked. If she says, no, she doesn't want to do it, there's no excuse.
Well, you know what? I'm going to take it a little step further than that, because there are some states that state that a person does have to say no, but then there are other states that state the absence of a yes, the absence of a no doesn't equal a yes, so that she doesn't even have to say no if she's not able to consent. Because if there's a person who's passed out and she's not able to say no.
That's true. That's true. Like,
yeah. I mean, if a woman is too intoxicated,
right,
and can't consent, then, you know, that will be rape. You know, if a child is a minor, even if they said yes, they can't consent. They're not of the age to consent. You know, so, you know, that goes into the whole And that's an argument in the R. Kelly accusations is, that even minors can't consent. So, it's, look,
And in
man,
this situation, even if she didn't say, no, stop, please don't do this to me, help, she was still too intoxicated to give consent. So absent all of that, it still would be the same situation.
Okay. And then so let's circle back to the race aspect of it. Did you get a chance to hear Mr. Williams' rogue interview from jail?
yes.
Okay. And he said, we're trying to take a black man down. They're trying to, what are your thoughts about that? With you two being black men?
I mean, what else can he say? I'm sure he and his people are monitoring social media and seeing, that, comment and are trying to ride it and, get people to ignore the fact that he is on video doing what he did, and take his side just because he's saying he's a black man. It's taken us, 20 years now for them finally to bring charges again against R. Kelly. And he's a black man, and I don't see too many people riding for him right now. So, I feel you.
Yeah, I don't understand that, because it doesn't matter if he was black, white, Asian. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And you do something wrong, I mean, you gotta face the consequences.
And that's the thing, which is what's been really interesting about this is when I'm going after a white police officer that's killed a young black kid in a city, I don't see too many comments from white people like, you trying to take a white man down or do this or do that. And when I do see those comments, they're from a hate group or they're from a racist. So, no one complains when I'm going after a white cop for killing a black man.
Right. But then, so then this circles right back around to the gender aspect of it. Why do you think there's such a huge disconnect in the black community with, okay, so we'll rally behind you when there's a black man who's been victimized. But now that there's this black woman who is seen we've seen the video. We've seen her slumped over catatonic, and we've seen this man carry her off into some other area. We've seen her saying no, stop, etc. But there's still this disconnect. Why?
It still baffles me to this day with my sexual assault victims of, how people just won't believe them, even when there's literal proof, even when there is, DNA test of his semen in her, and they're still saying, no, he didn't rape her, X, Y, and Z. It's one of those things of, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is or what the issue is. It's on video with her screaming no and don't do that. It's one of the things of what more do you want? I know all the dudes that I'm cool with and grew up with, and most black dudes I know, if a girl is drunk or out of her mind like that, or you just leave her alone. You don't even know her. You just met her.
Right.
It's not like you came there with her or that's your homegirl. Walk away. It ain't worth it. Like, it ain't even that serious. Like, he didn't have to keep holding her up or dancing or whatever. Like, just dip.
Right.
Just leave. It ain't that serious.
And if you look at it,
he enjoyed that she was
right,
not in control.
And if you look at it, majority of the people, they are in support of Jasmine because the video evidence is right there. And a lot of this hate and the naysayers looking at it is from a lot of fake pages. So real people, they have real lives and have real morals and real values. Those are the ones that are in support of Jasmine. And the ones that are saying all this stuff, you look at them, it's fake pages.
Okay, so all right. So what I'm hearing you say is that the vast number, because there are a lot of people, because I have videos up. I have an entire playlist of Jasmine Eiland videos, and there are a lot of people who have come out even attacking me. So what you're saying is that that those people are most likely creating multiple accounts and just going around trolling, that the vast majority of people are actually in support. Is that what you're saying?
or they're going off of the information which isn't right. Like the rape kit came back already and it was negative. That's just not correct. Or that, you know, she went out with him afterwards. So, you know, people are literally believing stuff that is just totally not true. You know, it's just literally not true. And a lot of people are just running with, you know, the wrong facts.
Right. And the ones that are running with those facts, they clearly didn't see the video, the second video. A lot of people haven't seen the second video when he carried her into the secluded area and he's telling her, be quiet. And she's saying, no, please don't do this to me. A lot of people haven't seen that video. So it's just baffles me how, you know, how everything's going right now.
Well, you know what? I have that video up inside the playlist. And there are people who have seen that video and they're like, well, you can't really tell what's going on. He's telling her to stand up. He's just trying to get her to stand up because he was the good Samaritan. Because, you know, he says he's ex-military and he worked as security and all this other stuff. And then in your press conference, you said that there was actually a person who entered onto the patio and was like, hey, stop.
Yeah, he took her to an area that nobody was in. It was dark. You're not supposed to be out there because there was no security to stop them. And he put her on his lap and did whatever it is that he's going to do. If you freeze frame it, that's her thigh sitting on his lap where she's screaming no. And then finally someone comes and says, you're not supposed to be back here. Get out of here. I just don't understand why it was that serious to keep needing to hang out with her or be around her when you just met her in there, you don't know her, and yet you feel the need to carry her off into some area. What he said in his original interview that he did for one of the blog sites was that he carried her to her seat. That is not where she was sitting. That wasn't a seating area. He carried her outside to a totally different area. He also said in that first interview, which he probably did before he got a lawyer, or maybe he had a lawyer, but he shouldn't have made those statements, is that his hands never went below her waist. Well, we know that's not true. So, you know, it just is what it is. And, I'm not going to try and break down and argue every single fact on social media. You know, a lot of people will comment or say something to me and ask a question, and I won't really respond because, you know, my battles are in the courtroom. I don't have to prove anything to anybody other than a jury of 12. And I'm going to keep fighting for Black people no matter what, you know, whether it's a cop case or a woman getting raped. So that's like when racists tell me shut the fuck up and stop talking, stop fighting for that family when it's a police shooting. Well, that ain't gonna work to shut me up. So, you know, we're gonna do our job in this too.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I do. Can we talk about the particulars of what occurred that evening? Because I have some questions that I'm curious about.
Yeah, depends on which one. You know, we're in full litigation, so yeah, as this will be watched by the defense team 100 million times.
Okay. So you said that there are people who are believing that she went out with him afterwards. And I've also heard rumors like that too, but then I've also seen that debunked. However, in the nightclub, the timeline is stated that she was turning up, having a good time. Then she became dilapidated, right? He carried her off to a separate area. The police officer who testified at the thing said they walked back out of the patio area together. And then after that was the concert. And then that's when her friend came around that time. And then after that, she got on stage. After she got off of the stage, she came back and hung out with Mr. Williams. Is that how it went?
No. You know, the videos speak for themselves. You know, we're not going to break down every single thing, but the videos speak for themselves. The video of her friend saying that Jasmine kept saying that he raped me. That video speaks for itself. It's out there. For all the people that said she didn't say anything that night, just watch the video of her friend.
And that's J-Bug video he's talking about. Yeah. Go back and watch J-Bug video.
So, you know, the it's right there for people to see and put it together. It's just, what do you want to decide that you believe? Do you believe a woman screaming and saying that someone's doing something to me and no? Or do you want to believe, you know, things that you want to make up?
Did she enter the dance contest after the alleged assault?
After which assault?
Well, okay. All right. So that is a good question. After which, because there were two.
Look, there were two assaults in this situation. But like I said, the videos speak for themselves. One thing that, you know, I try and teach younger lawyers is, when you start trying to argue the case and break down every fact in every single interview, instead of doing it in a courtroom and against defense counsel, you will make an error. You will say something, then you'll try and change it later in another interview, which will be saved and used against you in court, or you'll harm your client. So it's best to just stick to what you plan to talk about, and not open yourself up to things that can harm your client.
Okay, I got you on that. I know you said this before, but for the people who don't know, how was she able to hold up her phone?
She had a phone hook. You know, they sell it like a hook on the back of your hand that is actually attached to the phone, where you could even hold it like this and the phone won't fall off. So it was attached to her hand.
Okay. And so that's how she was able to walk and not be in full control of her faculties and be able to have the phone connected to this ring.
Yes.
All right. And then if we talk about you two both being Black men involved in a case against or prosecuting you guys are not prosecuting Dominique at all, right?
No, we have nothing to do with Dominique going to jail, you know, trying to put a Black man behind bars. That's the DA. That ain't my case. I have a problem with the club allowing this to happen, and the 3 other rapes that we found out have happened inside that club since we just started.
Okay. And so it was stated that the club was sold last year, or bought by a Las Vegas company last year. And since they've bought it, there have not been any rapes on record since they've bought the club, right?
Yeah, Jasmine's.
Okay, so that sexual assault is the only one since then. And are we sure that this company that bought it is a whole fresh new company, not related to any of the other companies before?
Well, that's the catch. You know, when a company buys another company, they have to do something called a due diligence check, which is where you look at the crime that's happened at the place that you're about to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to buy. You look at the crime that's happened inside your club. You look at the staff. If there's any issues where they've allowed something to happen, you look at everything. You would be well aware that 3 rapes have happened inside your club, and that there was an alleged sex club upstairs in the VIP bathroom that led to a minor underage girl getting raped in the bathroom, and you would make changes to security.
Hold on. This is new information. The person who was allegedly assaulted in the bathroom upstairs was a minor?
Yes, she never should have been in the club. She was not 21.
Oh, gracious. Oh, goodness. Okay. And so you said that there was this, and so how did you hear about this quote unquote sex club? How did you find out about this?
Because the person who was arrested for that was known and had nothing to hide about him filming on Facebook Live, having sex with women in the upstairs VIP bathroom. And people will watch it. A lot of people watched it on Facebook Live. And he was arrested because one of the women said that he raped her. So we heard about that case. I was shocked to hear about this situation that was happening. And what he was doing was tipping the security guard that was working that area. And the guard would just look the other way.
What in the world? Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. This is just so stunning. Okay. So what I'm hearing is that there was this alleged sex ring that was operating on the second floor of Club Opera, where the rapes had taken place in the past. When the new owners came in from Las Vegas and bought it, they had to have been made aware of this history of sexual problems and violence in this club. Correct?
Well, all the assaults weren't just happening in the bathroom. We talked to a young lady this week who was sexually assaulted on a sofa, sitting in the sofa on the regular floor. She was being sexually assaulted because she passed out and was unconscious. And when she awoke and when her friend came running over, she was in the midst of being sexually assaulted in the middle of the club. So it's not all just in the bathroom.
Okay.
So what it is, you become aware of issues and you don't decrease security. You especially don't decrease security if you know you're having a concert.
All right. And then one of the things that I thought was really shocking during that news report where they broke the story about this rape ring, right, is that when they talked with APD, that APD said that they don't think that this is a problem in clubs in Georgia. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it could be a problem with a club anywhere. It's just who's looking into it. If Jasmine wouldn't have happened to have her Facebook Live on, she probably never would have said anything, or people wouldn't have known, and she would have just lived with the humiliation and the memory of this forever, like a lot of women do when this occurs.
Okay. And so the bulk of these sexual assaults that occurred happened with women who were incapacitated.
Yes.
All right. So in some sort of way, they had their faculties diminished. And so thus they, one, were not able to consent, and two, were not able to fight off their attackers.
Yeah, I mean, sexual predators look for the weakest prey. And normally that is a woman that's too intoxicated or a date rape drug, which will make them become too intoxicated. Or a woman that's alone by herself and, then you can physically overpower her. But, that's, who is typically targeted.
All right. And how did you become involved with this? How did you become involved with the Jasmine Eiland case?
Family contacted us. Pretty much
okay.
if there's a sexual assault case that people are talking about anywhere, you start looking up online or you start asking who handles these, and that's not going to mess around. I've taken on companies, corporations, entertainers, stars, whoever it is, when something like this has happened. So it just is what it is. I don't care if you're black, white, I've sued white people for sexual assault. I don't care who the person is. It's just, if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, you're right. And I tell people all the time, I turn down 90% of the people that call.
What was it that made you want to take on this one?
Jesus, it's on video. You're looking at it.
Facts are
What's
right
wrong
there.
with people?
The proof is in the pudding.
I mean, good Lord, what? I don't even have that kind of proof in a lot of the cases. Like, so that was a no-brainer that something's going wrong. I see a woman screaming and crying, and that could be a sister, daughter, wife, girlfriend. What's wrong? Like, what more do you want? But I turned down some where I just, after doing research into her, doing research into the claims of what happened, that I won't move forward with it.
Okay.
So, it's not one where you just take every single case. You have to do your homework and see if it's valid.
Okay. And so so I want to hear, if you can speak about, what are your thoughts on people who are saying, well, she didn't have on any underwear, married woman going to the club, no underwear?
Well, I mean, like I said, even if she was walking around butt naked, it doesn't give anybody excuse to rape anybody. And I mean, I know plenty of women that go out without any underwear, so that's not anything to say. And married woman, just because you're married doesn't mean that you can't go to the club and have fun and have a good time. So anybody that's saying that's just crazy, because it doesn't matter what you're wearing. No means no. Period.
Yeah.
No means no.
And people talking about, oh, why would a pregnant woman go to the club or have a drink? She didn't know she was pregnant, people, until she got raped and she went to the hospital. So,
oh my.
so there's that little gem for everybody saying, why would a pregnant woman, go to the club, especially if an attorney would say something like that. Well, how about that fact? She found out she was pregnant from this rape.
Oh wow, that sounds awful. Poor fetus. Poor fetus. So then my follow-up question though is about people who are saying this is a money grab. Why go after the club if this is just financially motivated? What are your thoughts on that?
The only language that corporations speak in is dollar sign. They're not going to make any kind of changes at that club or do anything different or increase security for hip hop night or R&B concerts or whatever it is until they write a check and understand that nobody's playing with them. That's how the world works. I've handled cases where there was a defective tire that was operating on people's cars that companies knew would kill people.
Wow.
They knew it would, but they didn't really give a crap because they had set aside a certain amount of money to take care of those certain amount of deaths. I've handled cases where there was toxic pollution underground in a certain area and the company did not give a crap that people were going to die. I handle police brutality cases where
we do a lot of night
don't care
as well. So if you know that you're in an area or you have a crowd that has a propensity to shoot, you might need to check at the door for weapons. You need to have security, see if a fight's break out, break up the fight right then, make sure that no one gets shot. Our whole goal is to make sure that no one else gets sexually assaulted in a club like this. Make sure that they have the proper security for people down the road.
Yeah, and look, man, and yes, it in a civil case, it is a financial settlement. But do you understand what her current life is? Jasmine, right now, wherever she goes, somebody tries to pull out a camera, or people giggle when she goes into a room or goes to a place. There's people like stalking her, like trying to film her and take a picture. And her image is everywhere online. She's got full blogs with people harassing her and making fun of her and calling a woman that has a degree and has a management position at a job. She's not a stripper. She has a actual good job with a company and is a manager and has a education, is now being made into some kind of derogatory image and called all kind of names, and will forever be remembered by the person who was sexually assaulted on video. So you're dang right that will be handled and valued significantly, and it is what it is.
And it's more than physical. It's emotional. It's psychological. It's mental. She'll never be the same. She's gonna have to go through years of therapy. This pushed her to almost ending her life. And this is, her family is being affected by it. Her kids are being affected. This is a lot bigger than, just that act. This is gonna go on with her for the rest of her life. And if you can ask her if it's no amount of money that she would take in replace of this, if she could just erase that, and if this could never happen, there's no amount of money.
Oh, wow. But since we are talking about money, so Christopher, we hear that you are the $1 billion lawyer. Tell me some more about that.
A teenage girl was at a birthday party in an apartment complex. The security guard raped her on a picnic table.
What?
And I sued the apartment complex and the security company for hiring somebody like that individual who never should have been hired and who raped that little girl. And the company wouldn't settle, and we went to trial and went to a jury, and the jury awarded her $1 billion, which was the highest ever in history for a rape verdict and the highest ever for an African-American female in any case. And, it stands for a lot because a mixed jury, white, Black, Hispanic, valued a young Black girl at basically a limitless price, which meant a lot to her and meant a lot to, myself and my team.
Wow. Well, you know what? I applaud you. Congratulations. I'm happy to hear that. And you said that corporations, the only language that they do understand is money. So you're going to work to create a way that this hurts so bad that this will not happen again.
With that, but it's not just about a check. In any case I settle, I ask for institutional changes. I ask for, a person to be added that will just help patrol and monitor women that may be intoxicated. I'll ask for additional security at events. I'll ask that hip hop nights be treated the same as other nights. I'll ask for, an array of different things that'll protect the community. You know what I mean? Like it's if you handle one of these cases, you've got to find a way to do more than just take care of your client. In Walter Scott, we were able to get body cams on every police officer in the whole state, which people have been fighting for. Body cams will stop a cop from kicking your butt sometimes because he knows he's on film. Not all the time, but it'll stop you. So we'll try and find ways to protect more than just her.
Okay. All right. So then I have two questions. Actually, I have three questions. Okay. Was the club at fault? And if they were at fault, what were they at fault for?
Absolutely. Not having proper security, not monitoring that dance floor, not securing that second area where she was assaulted a second time and taken out of there, not having working security cameras out there where you would have known a woman is getting attacked on your back patio, and a number of other things that they're doing that they know I know they're doing, that'll be disclosed during this lawsuit.
Oh, wow. And then this is a huge question. I don't know which one of you will be able to answer this. And so for those of you who are just joining us right now, we have almost 400 people online, and then I'm gonna let a few people ask some questions after I get these two questions in. But one of my big questions, so right now we're talking to the lawyers of Jasmine Eiland, and they're talking about what's going on with the civil part of the case where they're suing the nightclub for what is it that they're being sued for? Reckless negligence, reckless endangerment. What is it?
Yes, negligence.
Reckless negligence?
No, negligence.
Just negligence. Okay, and so what does that mean? What does the negligence mean? And then I have my follow-up question.
Yeah, they're being sued for negligence, which means that they negligently performed their duties that night, meaning that there's no way that a woman should have been able to be lifted up and carried off into another area like that. That club has a strict policy of if you even appear intoxicated, you will be kicked out of that club. Or if you appear intoxicated, you won't even get in that club. So let alone her slumped over, hanging there, they should have intervened. Reckless indifference is punitive damages, where we're saying that they were so reckless with not having enough security guards and knowing different things like this happen in their facility, especially since it's now coming to light that it's happened multiple times and people have been arrested on the dance floor after raping somebody. They're well aware of what happens there. So,
is there
never should have happened.
Is there a responsibility that comes along with having a liquor license that this club just did not perform?
Yeah, there's a responsibility to run your establishment properly and make sure that when you have a headline artist that security is handled effectively. And that just didn't happen.
Bottom line, on that night, security should have been increased. Instead, it was decreased.
Okay, so what changes are you going to push for? And then, so listen, to those of you who are inside the room, thumbs up the video and get your questions ready. I'm going to take 3 questions from you all, so make them good questions. And so what are you all pushing for?
Changes at the club, making sure that there is somebody that monitors the dance floor. That doesn't mean you have to break somebody up if they're dancing with somebody, as saw one comment say. No, it means if you're slumped over, hanging there, visibly looking like you have passed out, that yes, you do intervene and ask, are you okay? And what's going on? That you don't let a woman, a tiny woman or any woman, be carried off into a secluded area. I mean, you know, just because you go to the club doesn't mean it's the Wild Wild West. You know, you have to do your job. You know, this isn't caveman days where you hit a woman over the head and drag her off.
You know,
You know, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you know, it just doesn't happen. You know, it shouldn't happen. You know, it's not that serious. Like, dude, there is somebody that will sleep with you or that will go home with you in that club. It ain't that serious to try and take it from a woman.
okay. All right. And then question, what community efforts are going to be performed or are underway for victims, for Jasmine, for whomever?
A number of the women's rights groups are in the process of planning protests at the club to make those changes happen, and for the club to speak out and accept responsibility, and stop attacking Jasmine.
Okay. And Josh, are you aware of what else is being put in play in Atlanta or around the world? What movements are starting up?
Well, we have a couple of groups out there. They're protesting Opera Nightclub. There's a couple Facebook groups out there in support of Jasmine. Worldwide, we're still looking for a little bit more support for her. But right now, it's just a couple of protests, Facebook groups, and I just want to thank everyone that's out there that is supporting her and fighting for the right side.
Okay, so what can people do? You said you're looking for more support. What can people do to provide more support in an instance like this for Jasmine, especially, or whomever? What can people do?
Speak up. You know, the biggest thing is it's not that the people that are trolling outnumber the people that are supporting her. It's just that they're more vocal. So speak up that you support her. There's a number of celebrities that I've talked to privately that support her, but just haven't said it publicly. And my thing is speak up. I feel you. You could believe that this was wrong, it shouldn't have happened, but speak up. You know, the more you speak up, the more the person, the predator that's out there that may do something like this starts to see the backlash for me trying to do this is just too serious. So maybe I'll just chill.
Right. We
So
just
speak up.
want everyone that a predator that will potentially do this, no, is not right. Don't drug anybody. No means no. If somebody appears too intoxicated to consent, don't try to have sex with them. I mean, simple things, but to some people it's complicated. Some people no might mean yes to them. No means no, and you need to understand that.
Okay, so speak up. So you're talking about people who are witnesses, people who are victims, speak up. And speaking up will provide support for Jasmine and other victims?
Yeah, victims and supporters. You know, if you support her, you don't know just how much it means where she may see a positive comment supporting her that could brighten her whole day rather than for tearing her down.
Okay, I
You
got
know,
you.
me and Josh can handle it. I don't care about comments or negative stuff. I deal with that with civil rights cases. If I was offended by people saying that we're just after the money or this or that or judging us, then I couldn't fight for African Americans in civil rights cases because the hell I go through handling a police case is nowhere near explainable. So
Okay.
you know, it's all good. I don't mind the criticism because I'm gonna fight for our people no matter what. I don't care what kind of case it is, cop case or rape case. You know, God gave me the ability to do this for a reason, and I'm just gonna do what I have to do to make sure that we're all right.
Okay, so there are a number of questions that are scrolling in. There are about 400 people watching live right now, so make sure you like the video, share the video, and tell people about the video and show your support for Jasmine. The number one question that's coming in right now is, how is Jasmine now? Is she receiving support? Is she getting counseling?
Yes, Jasmine is in therapy, and she's getting a lot of support. You know, like I said, the support she's getting, a lot of people just don't see it, but you know, she's getting a lot of love and support now. Now that a lot of the facts have been cleared up, now that a lot of people saw that second video, which is, you know, indisputable, and because of the behavior by the assailant and his team, I think it had a reverse effect on the support that he allegedly had.
I didn't hear that last part. Say it again.
I said, and of the comments and interviews of the alleged sexual assailant and his team, I think it had the reverse effect of, you know, taking away support for him.
Okay, and we have just a minute or so left, and a question coming in: did Jasmine go out to eat after the club?
No, she did not go out to eat. That's a false comment that was on Facebook. She did not go out to eat. She went straight home.
Okay.
Well, she dropped J-Bug off and then went home, but she didn't go out to eat.
Okay, and so you know what? We're gonna get out of here. I thank you so much for coming out. Ultimately, let's talk about the last question we're going to end on. Well, there are people who are asking, was there any drug in her system? But we don't know that yet because the tox screen is not back yet.
Yeah, we won't know that until the GBI report is done.
Right. So last question, big picture. Overall, like just from a macrocosmic level, what would you like to come of all of this ultimately?
That Jasmine can positively look back on this and know that her speaking up and having the courage to come forward, she didn't have to come forward. That the next time this happens to some young Black girl, no matter if it's in a club, if it's at a house, no matter where it is, that she has the courage to say, you know what, I remember that girl Jasmine that came forward, stood up and said this shouldn't happen, and held that club accountable, held the man accountable, and that, you know, I'm going to speak up.
Okay, Josh?
All right. Overall, I want Jasmine to get justice. I want her to heal. It's going to take a lot of therapy, but I want her to be able to have the best therapy out there. And I want these clubs to know that you need to have the proper security. Because if it's not a sexual assault, it's going to be a shooting. If it's not going to be a shooting, it's going to be something else if you don't have the proper security. You don't have to have G.I. Joe or James Bond or The Rock, but just have somebody out there properly trained, patrolling, and looking out for the people. And the last thing, I just want, you know, people to stop victim shaming. And I want the young people to know that no means no. If somebody's too drunk to even walk or anything, don't try to have sex with them. And victim shamers, this could be one of your family members. It could be your mother. It could be your sister. So just put yourself in that situation and just do the right thing.
Okay. Well, you know what? I think that this situation is going to go down in history. I think that this is going to have a widespread ripple effect in our society. Ultimately, after we sue the club and the club makes these changes, society-wide, like if we go big to society, how will something like this, getting a win on something like this, how will this change our society?
Corporations will put their money where it's supposed to be and protecting their patrons and making sure if they're going to hit you for $50 to get in their club, that you have a $50 experience and not a $10 experience. So, you know, the whole thing is that how much money can a corporation make? And it's very easy to take advantage of the African-American community at a lot of the clubs in this country by charging us outrageous prices to get in, but we don't get the exact same service. And that ain't going to happen on our watch.
Okay, so you do think that there was a component in there that had something to do with her being an African-American woman?
We shall see.
Okay, well, listen, knockouts. On that note, listen, thank you so much. If you are just joining us here, we're getting ready to pull out of here. Tell people how they can find you. Should they hit you up for anything? How do they get in touch? How do they know when a corporation is being negligent? Because I think that people just don't know that the club is at fault for why.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's one of the biggest things that is hidden from African American community is there are levels of service that are required, not expected, that are required. If you live in an apartment complex, I don't care if it's in the hood or if it's in the neighborhood where I grew up in, that isn't the best in the world. You have a level of security that is required to be upheld in your apartment complex. People can't just be shooting and you get shot or your mom gets shot. That apartment complex can be held accountable. Just because they decide not to provide good security at our apartments in the inner city or wherever it may be, that doesn't mean you walk away. No, you hold that apartment accountable to hire guards. But we don't know that. And they just keep hiding the money and putting it in their pockets and not in our communities. So you need to hold people accountable when something happens. Because just because it may be the Black side of town, that doesn't mean that the services or the places that we live don't need the exact same type of high-tech gates and security and working gates at apartments. You know, you go to the hood, the gate never works. It is required to be working, and you will fix it, but we just don't hold them accountable.
Yeah, and I agree with that. A lot of us African Americans don't know that they need the proper security. If there's a gate, the gate needs to work. If you complain for the locks not working, the locks need to work. And people are getting shot in apartment complexes every week. Just check the news. But we sweep it on the rug and it's something normal to us. People are getting shot in nightclubs every week, but it's normal to us now. And it's because we're not fighting back. And because we don't know that we can fight back. And we need to educate the people that if you're shot or sexually assaulted in an apartment complex, shot or sexually assaulted in a nightclub, even families in mental wards, people are in mental homes and a child speaks up saying that they were sexually assaulted and you don't believe them because she's in a mental ward. Us as Black people, we need to start fighting back and learning our rights and learning that, you know, we're not going to let these big corporations take advantage of us. They don't want us to know this stuff. They don't want us to fight back. They want to sweep it under the rug and say, oh, this is just a hood thing. Oh, they, you know, but we're fighting back. We're educating the people. And, you know, we're going to start a whole movement to let these people know that we're not going to be taken advantage of.
I literally had a case where a young African-American kid was shot at an apartment complex, and the CEO of a major company that owns apartment complexes in an email was making a joke like, oh, I heard somebody got killed in Little Iraq. That's what companies think of us in inner city areas when something like that happens. And you know what? They never expected him to go hire us to sue them. And I got a hold of those emails, and he lost his mind when he was caught red-handed making fun of the poor community, and this kid had been shot. Oh, and yes, it was about a dollar sign then. And you know what? His family will never have to work again in their life.
I hear that.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say this, right? Okay, so I live in an RV off the grid, right? And I was driving my RV on this RV park, right? And this tree bent my antenna, right? And so I've been just driving around with it bent, and I was talking to this Caucasian man who drove into a bush. He drove into a bush, and he was like, I called that front desk, and I gave them a piece, and they're going to fix my side, and they're going to repaint. And I was like, wow, you can do that? So even me, as an African-American woman, I didn't know that I could, that it was the RV park's fault that they didn't trim the trees, you know, from hitting people's RVs. So, and I think that there are a lot of us who are just in this country You know, we're so used to poor customer service. We're so used to the crappy end of the stick that we just don't know. How do we educate ourselves on how things are supposed to be? Because I had to actually hear it from a Caucasian man who was complaining about him driving into a bush and they fixed his RV.
The first step is we got to realize the slavery mentality is gone. That shut up and take it, that ended with slavery. I ain't shutting up and taking anything. You will give what is expected and what is required. Same thing you will do to any other African American, where you male, female, white, black, it doesn't matter. You will give people what they are required to receive and what they expect. And African Americans need to realize you don't know what they have to give you unless you ask. You know, if you do get bad customer service or somebody's treating you wrong, you don't just walk out, oh, I don't fool with that place anymore, they were racist towards me. No,
Right.
you emailed the CEO of that company, you put it on Twitter. I bet they jumped in.
Oh,
So,
wow.
you know, you just got to speak up. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, you were in a gang member, you have a criminal record or whatever it is. You still have a value. You know, that doesn't mean that you're worthless and, you know, you wouldn't have a case or it doesn't matter. Like, I don't, you know, that's just the mentality that's been put into us, that we just need to accept things and that we don't have any type of value. And obviously that's been proven wrong.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's the first thing they'll try to say is he was in a gang, he was a thug. They like to use the word thug, but you know, just because you was in a gang or you know, you did a couple things, that doesn't mean that your life has no value. They still need to put a value on your life, and they still need to provide the proper security. They need to provide the proper elements that they will provide to someone that they feel are higher class. You got to treat everyone equal. And
Yeah, you know, and I think we just don't know. How do we, because you know, there are things things you don't know, and things you don't know that you don't know. So if a person doesn't know that they don't know something, like people who were inside the comments were like, they didn't even know that the RV park would have been at fault for the tree hitting my thing. So how do we know what it is that we don't know that we don't know?
Contact us, you know, like you can ask questions, you know, things like this where we, you know, talk about issues, you know, beyond Jasmine's situation, where, you know, there are a lot of things going on that people need to be aware of, that you have rights and, you know, are required to be done. You know,
Okay, so
like you gave.
you're saying that we can call and talk to a lawyer and it's for a consultation and it's free to just ask, hey, this is not, is this up to par? So we can do that.
Literally, that's how probably 50% of people realize that they even had a case. Is they just called because something didn't seem right. I had a young lady whose husband was killed while riding his motorcycle, and she had no earthly idea that not just the car that hit him, but the restaurant he left that overserved the man that killed her husband could be sued.
Really?
And it wasn't just the little, you know, the car wasn't even insured that killed her husband. So they were distraught. And we realized that the guy was 8 times drunk. He was out of his mind drunk. And the restaurant he had left knew him. And that was their homeboy. And they served him to the point that he could barely walk out of the restaurant. He gets in a car and he kills a father of 3.
So the restaurant who served him the alcohol was at fault.
Yes, for over serving. It's called a dram shop case.
Okay. So what it sounds like I'm hearing is, if we have any type of problem, doesn't matter whether we think or don't know, call a lawyer, ask them, hey, you know, what do you think about but how do we even know what type of lawyer to call? And then also I want you all to let people know how to get in touch with you, and then we're going to jump out of here for real, for real.
The only thing we don't do is criminal law. You know, if we don't do criminal law, like, you know, as I said earlier, we handle civil litigation, which is someone shot in an apartment, someone killed in motor vehicle collision, motorcycle collision, sexual assault. And I specifically handle civil rights cases, which was something I decided to take on a few years back just because the police brutality was getting outrageous. And, you know, we needed to step up on that. You can find us at www.stewarttrial.com, or just email me at Cstewart, Stewart, at StewartTrial.com.
And then you can reach me at AttorneyJoshPalmer.com, or you can do FightAndWin.com, or you can reach me at Joshua at FightAndWin.com, FightAndWin.com, or you can just DM me in my Instagram at AttorneyPalmer.
Yeah, we'll send you our information so you could link it to the video.
Okay, well, you know what? I will put all of the links below. So you know what? This has been so insightful. I've learned so much. And so for all of the people who are watching right now, reach out to an attorney, reach out to somebody, even if you're not sure whether or not a company is at fault or whether you are. It pays to just ask the question so that we're not one of those people who are just taking it. Like all of these people who are like, oh, Jasmine just wants money from the club. They're ignorant because the club is at fault. There's so many businesses that are taking our money and we're just sitting here getting run over. You know what? I feel fired up right now. People want to know where you're located, counselors.
Our home office is Atlanta, but I handle cases anywhere. I'm in Chicago fighting the Antoine Galat case when the police shot him in that vehicle and said he tried to run him over, which was a lie. I'm in Florida. We handle them wherever.
Worldwide.
You know, so that's why I'm always tired and I'm always on the road.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you know what? How did you two connect? I'm curious about that.
Josh joined our firm recently because he's one of the best young rock star lawyers out there. I look young, but I've been a lawyer for a long time.
You've only been a lawyer 15 years, and you are young, counselor.
You know, the
audience is talking about how dapper you two look. You two are looking good, brothers.
Nice. Appreciate that.
All right. So on that note, thank you all so much for coming out. If you have any further questions, write them below. I'm going to put their contact information in the description of the video after we get off of this broadcast. No matter where it is that you're seeing this video at, you know, we were talking with the lawyers of Jasmine Eiland, and this was an amazingly robust conversation where we learned so much. And I'm so grateful for you two brothers coming out and talking with us. So remember, pick up your phone and call. If something happened to you, just call and see whether or not you have a case, because it's high time that we just stop turning over and just taking it. Our lives matter. Yeah. Our lives matter.
They make billions off us. They will be held accountable. And if you do have a quick question, just call 1-844-TRIAL-00 and the team will answer your question.
All right. So listen, thank you to the 400 people who came out on this broadcast. We will see you. I will see you on the next video. Thumbs up the video, like the video, share the video, and put your comments below. That matters for the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you all so much. Thank you for coming out. And I'm actually, after this broadcast, I'm going to do another quick live just so that we can come together and discuss what it is that we talked about together. And so I will see you all. I'll see you knockouts in the next video. So look for that. And then we are going to be talking about R. Kelly and doing a reaction to that. So stay tuned for that. All right. So thank you all. Thank you for coming out. Thank you, TonyaTko. And I'm out. Peace.